Let's go.
Topic Thunder, it's Topic Thunder. Just acknowledge it, knowledge with no scholarships. It's Topic Thunder, it's Topic Thunder. Breaking everything down, tech to politics. It's Topic Thunder, it's Topic Thunder. We don't tell you what you want, we just give you what you need. It's Topic Thunder, it's Topic Thunder. News, brews, and views from these Chi-Town streets. Topic Thunder.
Oh,
party
wow.
foul.
There you go.
And a serious party foul, because folks, I was just about to say, well, okay, let's rewind. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the program, Topic Thunder number 150. According to the archive.
Wow. Okay.
archive.
A special occasion that we did not mark in any sort of way.
And we never do, because
Yeah,
it's like,
fuck
the way I view it, and folks, welcome back to the program that we fashion as the Internet Saloon. My name is Brooks. That handsome man in the teal is Ben. We fashioned this as more like, do you denote the number of conversations you've had with a good friend?
Oh, no. No, exactly. I like that. I like the way that you look at that. Yeah.
And that's what this is, right? It's 150. It's cool because actually the community has grown. We've got the Australian guy that pops in. There's occasionally the Russian bots that like to come dancing on.
Even Joey.
It happened again. I caught the microphone though.
It did. Yeah. You were in need of an upgrade over there.
Yeah, something.
You might have to hold the mic throughout the night tonight.
That would be weird.
Like old school.
Like Walter Cronkite holding
like Walter Cronkite.
Or what who's the dude that did The Price is Right? Not The Price. Yeah, The Price is Right. The old
Bob
dude.
Barker.
Bob Barker with that skinny microphone. If I can get a skinny microphone, that would be fantastic.
That's what my ears.
We'll just go ahead and just hold a microphone. But hey, folks, welcome to the program, Topic Thunder. You, if you're watching, are in the world's most dangerous chat zone. We call it the Thunderdome. We've already got some VIPs. The VIPs.
Yeah,
Jennifer Brooks, Bob Jordan, Aunt Chris, Joe is here.
Bob
Joe
Barker
from,
toothpaste. What's that mean? I don't know.
I assume it's made of.
It sounds like another album title.
The tears of some Bob's brunettes or Bob's babes or whatever, the Bob's beauties. I think they call them.
Yeah. He was always weird with chicks, right?
Creepy, but he loved the pets. He loved the dogs.
Prison acid. Like I love that Joey's just randomly throwing up phrases now. That's great.
Ryan Hansen in the house too, and
Indeed.
So it's already kind of the luminaries are arriving. So folks, when I say it's been a weird week, I mean it's been a weird week. So what we'd like to do is kind of kick it off a little bit here with.
We do have a lot of weird stuff to talk about.
It honestly felt like 3 weeks in 1 week.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of big stories we got to. So I'll try not to rant too much on one subject.
And actually, there's the story I forgot to send. Ben and I had a very cool. I'm not going to disclose the details of, but Ben and I had a very cool personal conversation before the show, and I completely forgot to send him the link to a story that our good friend Tip in Moscow sent me.
I love that guy.
That's my bad, Ben. I got so into what we were talking about that I completely forgot to send you Tip in Moscow's link. So I'm going to.
We can sneak it in. I can find it. I'm sure.
I think he sent it to us both, so I think that's that should be a problem. But if not, I will find a way. I will mark it up.
I know. I did see. He also sent not that we're. But he also sent us a Steve Aoki video. Did you see that new one where there's a bunch of like him fucking Steve Aoki smashing cakes into people's faces? There's a bunch of new ones that we hadn't seen before. It's in the group chat. It's in the group chat. Don't worry.
Well, okay. We'll put that. We'll end the show with that for gosh darn sake.
Yeah.
So it hasn't actually been a rough day. It's been actually a good day. But this was the wine that was open on the counter. So this is the wine that we're drinking here today. It's one of those days, folks.
Yeah.
So I already can tell you it's not a bad red if you like your cabs. It's got that dry. It's got that like dark fruit taste to it. It is pleasant. It is enjoyable. I would buy it again. Here's cheers to you, to everybody except young Sir Aaron.
Oh, sorry. You know what? My bad. I got caught up in the Tipton Moscow group chat. Forgot to put up the bottle. Oh, I like that bottle with the dog. That's cool.
The rough day red, right? Like, get it? It's cool. But actually, yeah, and of course, sometimes we're famous on this show for purchasing a product just on the label or
sure, on the bottle or can alone. Yes.
Mm-hmm. So again, truth be told, for those with a Costco membership, it's cheaper in Costco than it is at Vinny's.
You can buy it by the case.
You could if you wanted to. That's a lot of wine.
That's a lot of wine. Like you might want to
of the same wine too.
Yeah, right. Like that's really committing to one taste for a long time.
If you're having a banquet, I guess that's what you do because it's cheap and it's good. But
yes, I could see that. Yeah, I could see
that. Okay, but that if you're buying it for personal use, you might need to talk to somebody.
Yeah,
I don't know who that person is. Wouldn't know him from Job, and that's a terrible way to lead into the next segment. But here it goes. Ben, before we hit the actual headline, I guess I could have mentioned that over the weekend, the pretty lady and I, Gigi, attended the opera.
Really? That's something I have never done, though I'm not 100% opposed to it. Yeah, how was it?
When I tell everyone that 20-year-old me had a hard, or 22 whatever year old me couldn't sit through the 3 hours of Titanic without being like, ah.
Right.
This was a breeze because there were moments during the production. We went to the Lyric Opera and saw the play Verdi. I'm not an opera expert, right? But I guess the sucker is 200 years old. It's called Ada, and what was an hour and a half and then maybe a 20 or so minute intermission and maybe another hour into the finale. I literally felt enchanted, and I say that with every single emphasis behind it. I felt spellbound.
I feel like I could appreciate the art in it, and when it's done well, I feel like I could appreciate that.
Okay, so it was a birthday thing and something that she'd been mentioning for a long time.
Joey says he could be an opera expert. Why? I have a hard time believing that.
You could be.
Oh, you could be an opera expert.
I'm not. Although I really appreciated the orchestra pit and the band. The conductor was probably a raging lunatic in regular life, but he was part of the show and everything. The conductor, he was all that, right? The performances were mind blowing.
Was it in English or was it in an Italian?
It was in Italian. However, they solved the problem you're thinking about. They've already overcome the roadblock.
Okay.
They had a small screen above the stage that had the subtitles.
Okay, I'm okay with that because I watch TV with subtitles, so I'm okay with that.
And if you were watching it, you could get the basics of what was going on. You could understand that there's some weird love triangle, that there's
I'm okay with that. At least they did something to allow you to understand what is being said or the context of the song, not just the vocal abilities of the person singing it. While that is obviously the star, to have some context would definitely help. Because I was with Ryan where seeing an opera in English would definitely be, but is that even an opera? I don't know.
So these are classic operas, right?
Right. So they're not in English.
They're not in English, and it wouldn't match the translations.
Right. The singing wouldn't be the same.
Everything wouldn't match up with the music, right?
Yeah.
But they solved the problem thanks to technology, right? So if for that, all you have to do is kind of look up because I splurged a little bit, and why wouldn't you? For
If you're gonna be a bear, be a grizzly.
we did the tuxedo. I did a tuxedo, Ben.
No shit.
Oh yes, sir.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah,
Yes.
I rented a tuxedo. She rented a very lovely dress from renttherunway.com.
That's fantastic.
Which I guess the gals in the chat might know, but I guess you can rent like designer dresses for a period.
Incredible.
Of time. And she was gorgeous. She was absolutely radiant.
Dude,
And,
you in a tux with that beard you got going on right now was probably an epic sight.
yeah. And next to her, I was just an accessory,
Of course, yes.
right? But
Sounds penguiny.
it was a lovely experience. You could bring wine in, like they could bring alcohol. They gave you a little sippy cup like top.
Okay, interesting.
Okay, so, like, yeah, and
A sippy cup, like just in
so
case.
you don't want you to, just in case, you get everywhere, right? The auditorium itself was grand. The architecture, the artwork on the latticing on the walls and the columns, absolutely beautiful.
It's the full experience.
It was like it was like the first time you ever walked into like an intimate auditorium. And then sitting in fourth row, we literally felt their voice when they were singing. When the principal was belting, and I mean like unbridled power, like I've been.
I would love to do that. I am not opposed to that at all. I would love to have that experience. I think
it was amazing, and then you see the costuming and the lighting.
I don't know if I'm wearing a tuxedo.
No. I
maybe wear like a suit jacket.
This is
No, I get it. And like doing the full thing, like I could understand and appreciate that experience.
It was I gave it to her on our 5th anniversary, so I kind of chinsed out on a birthday anniversary combo. But we went the day after her birthday. Because I made sure that again, if we're gonna have that experience, I wanted to give us both time for her to rent a dress. Like we're gonna do this. I don't care if we're the only ones. Everybody else is wearing flannels and ripped up jeans. Don't give a fuck.
Right, everyone's wearing cowboy boots and jeans, and
Right.
you're showing up in a tux and a fucking dress. I love that.
And I'm doing the Uber XL, like we're showing up in an Acura or whatever it is, right? Lincoln Navigator. That's great. It's just because it's those moments.
I love that. Yeah, hell yeah, dude. That's awesome.
Interesting to note, at the opera, you actually did have that. We were talking about it. We were talking about this is the greatest cross section of American society that you could ever put on display.
Really?
Because yes, there were people there with like nice jeans and maybe a nice shirt, but it was like, to other people like dressed in very nice gowns and evening dress and tuxedos and other. It was
interesting. People watching, it was a cross section. Yeah,
and you couldn't do enough of it, to be honest with you. Because when you're watching the show, like you're watching the show, and kudos to them too, because if they told you up front, look, if you have to get up to go to the bathroom, you want another drink or whatever, if you step outside of the auditorium, we will only let you in when it is appropriate during the show, or you've got to wait at least then until intermission.
Yeah, sorry, pal.
And kudos to them at
the
Lyric
good.
Opera, because they ran a tight ship. It was an absolutely enjoyable experience.
That's awesome.
Again, cheers to and happy birthday to my pretty lady. That we had a wonderful time at the opera.
Dude.
So,
all right, let's get into some much more serious and shitty stuff.
As opposed to taking your girlfriend to the opera and winning big.
Indeed.
Let's talk about failing big. I assume everybody's already heard about this.
If you haven't seen the video,
have you not seen the video of the tanker ship? This absolutely gargantuan ship loaded to the brim with the trailers and the 16-wheelers.
And this is a much shortened clip, so I'm interested to see where this starts and ends. So
here it's basically the moment of impact.
Oh, okay. That's awful.
Horrifying. And
The 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 the, the guys that were on the workers that were working on that fucking bridge, the absolute fucking terror.
and
I,
of what was going on, and yes, there were several, I guess, 8 as far as we know, 2 that have been recovered. It's no longer a rescue mission. It's a recovery mission, and that there's a difference there.
yeah, they've been very very particular on how they're saying it. Yeah, I mean
That particular water was cold enough that experts say that in a free swim situation, you basically have about 2 to 3 hours before you freeze to death.
ugh,
Right?
yeah.
And if you're in the water and you could presumably swim, let's assume that 2 to 3 hours, probably looking at this picture. I'm just amateur, right? Amateur. I think I could probably swim to shore in 2 to 3 hours. When you talk about a bridge consisting of a 4-lane highway and all of that steel and concrete then crashing down around you as that's happening,
Yeah, you have no chance.
you really
The fact
have
that
no
2
chance.
survived is amazing.
It really is, because it's if you're not immediately destroyed or crushed by the metal or the concrete, the in water, the the vacuum that will pull you under due to that stuff sinking will be so much greater than anything you could possibly swim against. So it's a tragedy, and as we
So there's a couple layers to this.
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's setting aside the obvious tragedy that lives were lost here. There's a couple of things that bear asking questions. The explosion. There was a very large explosion when this ship hit the bridge. That if you were of the conspiracy mind, you would say, well, what in the hell? How does it make an explosion if there was no explosives on the ship? I don't know the answer to that question, but it would be something that I would be interested in finding out, because there was a massive explosion when that bridge got hit.
which would correspond with them reporting engine failure. And I've
Right.
been, I have, but if,
I guess bad gas is what they're saying. Maybe they're like the ultimate
engine
culprit.
blew.
Yeah.
Imagine. Okay, so actually, we're gonna talk about not only how heavy that ship is. We're gonna talk about the force it was bringing when it hit the bridge, right? But let's just say that this thing is so big that those are not normal engines. Like that is, those are engines. Gigi makes fun of me when I watch like big ships on National Geographic, just because it's interesting to me. But the scale of those engines, like they're the size of houses. They're the size of 4-bedroom houses, right?
Yeah, just the containers, right?
Yes. And if we're already talking about corporate malfeasance in Boeing, let's just assume. Well, actually, we don't have to, because the company that was chartering this vessel, Merizik, has been way guilty of overstacking ships. And there's going to be an important demarcation here as to like who owns the ship, because Maersk does not own the ship.
From what I understand, Brooks, I don't know if this is right. This is one of those things that I read it online, so take it with that grain of salt. But I don't know if this is true. But apparently, Mitch McConnell's there's a relative of his that recently died in an automobile accident.
In a Tesla accident.
Apparently, she was the CEO of the shipping company that this was a part of. I don't know if that means anything, if there's a connection, or it's just coincidence. But
I would like to look into that. I know that Mitch McConnell's wife, Elaine Chao, former Transportation Secretary of the United States of America under the Trump administration, has definite ties to a major Chinese shipping firm. That's been confirmed. That there is no conspiracy about that.
So they do have some connections in the shipping world. So.
Massive, massive. I think it was her sister, Elaine Chao's sister.
Correct.
Like that.
I believe that's who was in that automobile accident, that Tesla accident.
And it was a Tesla.
Correct.
That
there's some interesting circumstances surrounding that.
Lost gear and she fell into a swamp. And I guess there was a frantic call from her 45 minutes before there wasn't any more contact from that vehicle, that she was in a swamp and the vehicle kind of did a thing. I don't know. I don't know enough about that story to really... That story is out there.
Yeah,
there could be some tug on that.
We may have to look into that for future weeks, and just put that little nugget in the back of your head. If the story becomes a little bit more major, that just remember that we said it here first. That might be a little bit of something to the story here. I do want to talk to Ryan Hansen in the World's Most Dangerous Chairman, because he brings up a point here about why couldn't they get tugboats to steer it away from that pile. It had already disconnected from the tugboats. The tugboats do not guide the boat all the way out of the channel. I only know this because it was on the news, and they asked this question on the news. The boat had already disconnected and was at full speed headed out of the port, and when it lost the power, and then it was just a matter of the tides, and they had to hope that the boat was going to miss one of those fucking columns, and it just didn't. And so, yeah, okay, that's the first part of it, of maybe the why, and maybe we're going to get into this more, because I know there's a story that you have linked here that goes into a little bit more detail. But we've talked about terrorist threats, outside influential threats that are attacks that could happen on this country that could affect the day-to-day operations of this country. And so, again, if you are wearing your conspiracy hat, if you were going and there was something more to this, if it's a Chinese company that is at the helm of this, if the Chinese-owned shipping company maybe is at the owner of it. I mean, is there something here? I want you have the pieces fit, kind of, not maybe exactly, but they're kind of the right pieces. You see what I'm putting together here?
Oh no, I understand that. I understand questioning the
and I don't want to go too far down the rabbit hole either and be that guy. But
healthy discussion, I think, is
right,
and that's what we try to do here, right? We're going to shoot down anything that's fucking crazy, because I've already seen and everybody already documented it. The Israelis did it. They're trying to do all of it, some crazy shit. And the truth of the matter is, I guess if you were trying to make such a devastating attack on the United States economy, that plan's already been laid out and done better. And while this is going to impact, actually, I guess Pete, Transportation Secretary and future political superstar Pete Buttigieg, announced that this is going to affect supply chain.
Great.
Because this is a major port, especially on the East Coast.
These corporate assholes are going to take advantage of this to raise the prices again. Oh, supply chain, guys. There's nothing we can do. Everything's more expensive.
Absolutely. And Ryan Hansen, you're on it. They could weaponize container ships, right? But I dare ask you, wouldn't there be more... The act of terrorism isn't necessarily to inflict the most damage.
Right. It's to inflict the fear.
The fear. It's what's going to get people to react the most. There are other things that...
Sure, because this isn't 9/11, right? This isn't like, yes, this sucks, but this isn't like oh my God, because Here's the other thing that's very fortunate, and what leads you to believe that it wasn't a planned attack is that seeing the damage that we just saw, if that had happened during rush hour, the amount of death would have been a lot more than 6 people that happened to be on that, because they got warned ahead of time. There is the other pieces of the puzzle is that the captain of that ship did warn a mayday call, and they were able to stop traffic at both ends, and that's why there was very limited. They just weren't able to get those construction workers off the middle of that bridge in time, but they did save a number of lives by stopping traffic on both sides of that bridge. It could have been a whole lot worse. If it was a terrorist attack, they probably would have done it at a time where there were more people on that bridge, surely.
And it does seem to be now that they went through a process of they tried to restart and reboot, and they got the black box.
This is a tragic accident.
And what it's going to amount to is, yes, that if the engine blew, and apparently they tried to deploy anchors too to try to
yes.
However, let's just move on to a couple of things. The next, I did some research. Okay, so yes, we can.
Are we done here with this link? Do we need this link?
I think. Probably
if not, are we moving ahead? Are we moving ahead to the Wikipedia link?
I think we are, because we need to understand just how much energy this ship was bringing to that pillar, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that is measured in what we call a joule, which is
never heard that word before, but
is basically
learn something new every day.
Mass times speed.
Okay.
That is an amount of energy, right? And we're going to get into a little bit of it. We're not going to get into a lot of it. Allow me to explain really quick that this ship allegedly weighed, Ben.
It was like an aircraft carrier.
Weighing in at 183,000 tons.
Not pounds. 183,000 tons.
183,000 tons.
Going full speed.
At 9 miles an hour. Now, I broke that down into metric tons and kilometers.
Oh, good.
Actually,
Thank you,
meters per second.
Without that, I would have no idea.
To determine that vessel at the point of impact, unimpeded, had an equivalent of 936 million joules. Now, according to our good friends at Wikipedia, that is, let's just break that down and make it real easy. That was 936 megajoules. All right.
Megajoules.
Now, they go on in the Wikipedia here to explain what a megajoule is. Keep scrolling down. That's the equation. Yes, I did a lot of fucking work in math for this, so I hope I
multiples.
This is all approximate according to my.
So here's the multiples. Megajoule right here.
So remember science. Remember that. So a 10 to the 6th means that there's 10. There's a 1 0, and then there's 6 zeros behind that, right? So scroll down even more. Keep going. There's the megajoule. A megajoule is approximately a kinetic energy of 1 megagram or ton vehicle moving at 100 miles an hour.
How many megajoules was it?
1 megajoule.
No, but how many was was this? How many megajoules was this ship going?
936 million
megajoules.
Yes.
So 936 million times 161 miles an hour.
I apologize. I got 936 megajoules.
Okay, so 936 times 161 miles an hour.
So the idea
Holy
here
fuck.
is to the 1 megajoule. We're talking about 936 of them. 1 megajoule is the kinetic energy of a 1-ton vehicle moving at 100 miles an hour.
Wow.
It is the energy required to heat 10 liters of liquid water. Hey, we've all seen a 2 liter of soda or whatever, right?
Right. Uh-huh.
10 liters of water from freezing to boiling. That energy for 10 liters of water to bring that from freezing to boiling is 4.2 megajoules.
God.
1 kilowatt of hour of electricity is 3.6 megajoules. This vehicle was 936 megajoules worth of energy. Nothing was going to withstand this energy
At all.
If an engine blew and they had power issues, and there's a black box, and many of these sailors survive, of course, right? There's a story to tell about what happened, and the ship is well preserved.
Yeah.
The bridge is not. That bridge was 1.6 miles long.
That's crazy.
And will affect not only the port, but then we'll just drive around it. No, you won't. There's no equivalent highway that connects like through Maryland like that.
Mm-hmm.
So in a terrorist attack, target-wise, okay, I can see your point, because you did long-term damage. This is not an easy build, not an easy fix.
No.
There's a rescue recovery.
Baltimore's traffic is fucked for the foreseeable future.
Absolutely. There's gonna we have to keep an eye on Baltimore, because this could go fucking sideways. Really.
Yeah, for real.
For real. And speaking of things going sideways,
I was gonna say, speaking of things going sideways, and our old friends over there in Russia had themselves a little incident this last week, eh?
Aunt Chris had to alert me to this, because I was playing a rerun through of Witcher 3. And a great game, by the way. She's like, "Hey, are you aware of what's going on in Russia right now?" I was like, "Huh?" I was like, "Oh my god!" 4 or 5 gunmen, according to reports, depending on what you believe, opened fire at a concert hall in Russia and killed at least now 133 people.
The video's fucking crazy.
Which was released by ISIS, who are openly going, "That was us.
That was us. Yep.
Hey guys, that was us."
Yeah, they are gleefully taking credit for this, which is interesting that that in Russia. Like, what's ISIS's beef with Russia? That's interesting.
And I had that same conversation with Gigi, and it occurred to me, Syria, and that it actually ends up being the case, right? Their beef with Russia is Syria. If you're into that, if that's your flavor.
Interesting.
But now understand that Russia is blaming Ukraine, and
Russia's really trying to shoehorn Ukraine into this thing, and it's so obvious that what they're doing. They're like, "Oh yeah," Vladimir Putin's like, "Yeah, reports we have say that there was a plan to allow them to get to freedom through Ukraine, like to escape, an escape route." That's the word I'm looking for. It was obvious bullshit. Obvious bullshit. Like, ISIS and Ukraine are not working together. Nobody buys that. Like, what are you doing, Vlad? Knock it off.
He knows what he's doing, because we can all certainly recall his absolutely inspiring election win, where I believe he had like
86% of the vote is what I saw.
86% of the vote. Unprecedented. Congratulations to President Putin.
That free and fair election.
In a free and fair election, which a week later, and I sent that link to you and Lockport Joe in our group chat, how almost 3 days after that election, they called for a mobilization of 2 separate armies that combined are basically bigger than any our army in Europe combined. That,
nice.
2 armies that would be bigger than Germany's, France, Poland, UK, Italy,
Combined.
all of them combined, a mobilization.
Wow.
And then a day after that or so comes this horrific act of terrorism at a concert hall, which was then set on fire.
Yeah. They did. These guys were not fucking around, for sure.
And it calls into question a lot of things. First of all, that the United States warned Russia.
Yes, they sure
bound
fucking
to
did.
happen. In a, hey guys, all things aside, political, socio-economic differences aside, hey guys, we've got this type of intelligence. This is what's going on. We can't maybe tell you our sources because Lord knows you've killed enough of them.
Right.
But even in spite of that, hey guys, there's a group planning something like this. And even though it didn't happen in the time frame that the intelligence was given, which actually could have been employed by the intelligence, right? Or the terrorist organization, like, we know this is going to get out. The United States shared advanced intelligence indications under a tenet of the United States intelligence community called the duty to warn, which obliges the U.S. intelligence officials to lean towards sharing knowledge of a dire threat if conditions allow. That holds whether the targets are allies, adversaries, or somewhere in between. Again, I know about propaganda. I know about being raised under a flag and having to recite a pledge every day while you're in school. But that sounds like the workings of the good guys.
Yeah, dude. I don't know if we're going to get into this, but it just I heard a story about this on the news. The Russian government or police, law enforcement, were very slow to react.
They stood down, Ben.
For an hour.
They stood down.
For an hour, they did nothing.
On camera.
That's very interesting.
And then
under
Russia
whose
tried-
orders? Under whose orders? There's only one person, right? There's only one person who makes orders like that
you
in
would
that country.
Never dare cross.
Certainly, it was run by him. It may not have been his call to actually call out to those guys. He wasn't the one that called out, but the man that made that call to those Russian law enforcement officials, he ran it by the man. What do you want to do, boss? Tell him to stand down. That was an order that was given from Vladimir Putin.
Hide.
Why? Why did they stand down? Why did they do nothing? Why did they let 133 people get murdered and allow the place to be burned down to the ground?
Which, by the way, they immediately tore down the rest of the structure. I mean, immediately.
Also suspicious.
Very suspicious, because if you treat terrorism as a crime, right? And one of the first things you do at break of dawn is send in the destruction crew to tear down the crime scene.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what kind
Very
of explosives were they using? Where did they place them? Did it seem like they had a strategy? Did it seem like it was a special ops thing? Like they knew where to place the explosives for maximum damage? Or was it just a
like in an arson investigation? They don't tear down the house immediately. Right? No. Like, if you're going to investigate an arson, what you can't do is tear down the structure immediately.
They need to figure out where the source of the fire came from. Like, where was it hottest?
This is very suspicious. This is suspicious on top of suspicious on top of suspicious.
That Putin vows to punish those that are involved. Ukrainian military intelligence told Reuters, Ukraine was, of course, not involved in this terror attack. Ukraine is defending its sovereignty from Russian invaders, liberating its own territories, and fighting with occupiers' army and military targets, not civilians. And actually, that has held true. In every acknowledged Ukrainian action, it has been strategic, if not military targets. Yes. Are they going after some oil refineries? Hell yeah, they are.
I want to say to Ryan Hansen, I think that if you've seen the video, there's no doubt that these shooters were actual shooters, and I think the video is also pretty clear that they were of what's the right way to put this? You could tell that they were Muslim, I guess, the Islamic extremists. Like, you could tell that this wasn't like Russian actors.
You do okay. So
I think it's more that they were warned that this would happen, and they allowed it to happen. It was one of those things where they, much like the conspiracy of 9/11, where the United States government knew of an attack being planned, and they just did nothing because it would be strategically advantageous for the government to take advantage of the situation. So they just kind of let it happen. That's what I think happened here with this situation. I don't think that it was like Russian agents. I think what really was ISIS did this attack. They're too gleefully taking credit for it, for them not to have done it and planned it and that whole thing. I think that just Vladimir Putin decided it's advantageous to him. He could spin this his way, so he just stood down and allowed it to happen. Let his people be fucking slaughtered. Because what are they going to do? Vote him out?
Gosh. It almost seems eerily similar to the reports that there was intelligence forwarded to the highest levels of American power prior to 9/11 that a certain terrorist organization was going to use planes to ram them into buildings. That story exists, actually. That's not a conspiracy theory.
Nope.
I'm not putting on the tin
There's
foil.
actual paperwork, memos, yes.
That was brought to the highest levels of authority and responsibility in this country too, and it was ignored. So I'm not saying it's negligence, it's malice.
Yes.
That if you take a look at that and go, oh, well, how can we make this work for us? Oh, look, I don't want to dive down that, folks. Like,
yeah, but we know Putin is shrewd enough.
I said it.
We know that Putin's mind works that way. We know that he is that type of person where it doesn't take malice. It doesn't take his. It's an instant reaction for him to say, "How can I take advantage of this? How can we use this to our advantage?"
Putin said that they cast the enemy as international terrorism, and he's willing to work with any state that wanted to defeat it. All the perpetrators, organizers, and those who ordered this crime will be justly and inevitably punished, whoever they are, whoever is guiding them. We will identify and punish everyone who stands behind these terrorists who prepared this atrocity, this strike against Russia, against our people. Okay, so
look at this immediately.
When ISIS is going, guys,
Ukraine was
it was us. We've got GoPros showing you the fucking like Medal of Honor, like do Call of Duty, like
it's Call of Duty. Yes,
we are slaughtering people. Here we are. We're ISIS guys. We're ISIS. We believe it was the Ukrainians led by the Americans and the British,
come on,
the French and the UN, of course, led by NATO.
Stupid.
No, and
nobody
Russia even
that.
Bounced it like to Turkmenistan, and we're like, oh, these are like Turkmenistan nationals, and Turkmen was like, they don't exist here, bro. We don't know who these dudes are. They don't show up in any registry. They have no driver's license, work permits, anything. Like, we don't have any ID of these people, so they don't belong to us. Don't drag us into the shit.
You cannot believe anything Vladimir Putin says. So if it's coming from him, you know it's not believable, and he doesn't even care if you believe it or not.
I will point out that Aunt Chris has pointed out that there's a documentary on Netflix called Turning Point. I've heard a lot about it.
Yes,
and she gave me the Iggy on that one. Good stuff. If you like this type of conversation, and if you at all kind of like want to know,
It's on my list. I just don't know if Adrian would be interested in watching it with me or not. So that's why I haven't started it yet. But I also tipped you off on the same thing on Netflix documentary, The Octopus Murders. Along the same lines, if you have not seen it,
on the list. It's on.
You
the list.
definitely need to go out of your way. Brooks, I'm telling you, I can't wait till you watch it so that we can converse about it because it is so up your alley. I have never been more sure about a documentary that is going to interest you than I am The Octopus Murders.
Oh well, I mean, when I'm not busy going to the opera, Ben.
Indeed, when you're not being cultured as fuck.
See, AF.
Yeah.
I don't. This is one of those ones that I don't. There is no cute, clever intro or lead into. This is yet another powerful male figure in our culture that is being accused, and rumors have been there for years, maybe decades.
This is one that's flown completely off my radar, Brooks. I did not know that this was a thing.
I'm definitely not as clear as Ben. I've been having microphone problems. So,
yeah, it fell off earlier.
Difficult.
So
yeah, I'm literally doing a patchwork, but I'll lean into the microphone. And
so
hello, Derek.
Here's what I know. Apparently, there's a rumor that P. Diddy had sex with Meek Mill. Like, what is going on? P. Diddy
it probably didn't end there.
Is he's some sort of weird sex fiend? Is that what's going on? Is that what
he's being? They raided both East Coast and West Coast homes of his at the same time. I'm talking they had helicopters and military equipment and all kinds of weird shit. And
what is going on?
Again, I guess there were whispers. I don't know. I don't really pay attention to pop culture, especially when it comes to P. Diddy. It was Sean Combs was. I could tap my foot to the songs that we all know, but not my jam, right?
Mm-hmm.
I guess like there are people posting a bunch of old videos of like him with Justin Bieber, talking about him and a 14-year-old Justin Bieber are going to have the greatest 48 hours. He's going to be staying with me. He did the same thing with Usher. Usher, I guess, lived with him for a year. And he boasted about like the Usher is he was going to teach Usher the way. And there are, I think, 4 females now and 1 male that have come out in this lawsuit about having been basically abused and trafficked by P. Diddy, Sean Combs.
Wow, this is fucking crazy.
And it goes on well beyond the R. Kelly thing, and rightfully so. Aunt Chris is right there saying that this is tied to Russell Simmons, who's notorious for the same thing.
Really?
Yeah, it's not good.
Wow. I just this was somehow not on my radar. I did not know that Russell Simmons and P. Diddy were these fucking predators.
Nobody knows where P. Diddy is right now. Just to let you know, he took a private jet to the Bahamas or something like that, and apparently now nobody knows where he is.
There's a Russell Simmons documentary. Where's this, Gigi? You got to give me the heads up. Give me the Iggy here. What streaming service can I find such a documentary? We'll watch it starting tonight. I'm interested. This is crazy.
It is horrifying, some of the details that are coming out. And we
just watched that. We just watched that Nickelodeon one. Did you watch have you seen that Nickelodeon one yet?
I can't do something about Nickelodeon, really,
dude. Well, here's the thing. It's Nickelodeon. It's the Nickelodeon that's kind of after our time of when we were watching Nickelodeon. Okay. It's the Dan Snyder years, which are basically we were adults and no longer really the target audience.
We were watching Keith Olbermann and Dan Patrick
Indeed,
on
we had
ESPN.
moved on and matured past the Nickelodeon. But dude, that's another one that is just, it is coming out of the woodwork. That, and Cat Williams, he did, to his credit. And I know that he said a lot of crazy shit, but he said some crazy shit about P. Diddy, and here we are. But yeah, that documentary that Adrian and I watched on the Nickelodeon stuff is fucking crazy. That Dan Snyder dude should definitely be in prison, 100%. And I remember him, Brooks, and you'll probably remember him, the same guy. He's the fat kid from the back of the class, at Head of the Class, like the funny fat kid from Head of the Class. Remember the sitcom on ABC
I remember the
you'll know him if you saw him.
I'd have to see it. I'd have to see it.
Yes. Hold on. I got to pull him up because
okay.
you're going to see him and you're going to be like, yes, okay. And that's how I knew him, which was weird because I was like, hold on, I know him as the guy from Head of the Class. Dan Schneider.
Gigi brings up a really good point that 50 Cent had been hinting about this for years. I'm sure that there are a lot of rappers and performers that have made lyrical references, whether it's acknowledged or open or not, about this. That's a really good. Thank you for that, Gigi. That's a great contribution there.
So remember, this was if you remember the show Head of the Class with the guy from WKRP in Cincinnati. He was the teacher, right?
Yes.
The fat kid in the back of the class was Dan Schneider, and he ended up like becoming the king of Nickelodeon. Like he created a bunch of really popular shows, and he had the grossest sense of humor for a man doing child shows that you've ever seen. Like, there's some clips of Ariana Grande doing some things that are appalling in retrospect. Like, you can't believe that stuff made it on the air. It's incredible. Like he's very into feet, right? And then there's a lot of like dick and cum jokes in children's shows.
Weird.
It's super fucking weird, and it's all because he thinks it's funny. He doesn't think it's funny. Multiple child predators were hired on that show to work on that show. I mean, it was a disaster for those children.
He was providing shelter and an environment for predators.
Yes, he 100% should be in prison right now. Instead, he has like a $40 million home in the hills of Beverly Hills.
Well, don't worry about that, because I'm honestly sure at this point, with all the stuff that we've talked about, not only today, but we talk about a show, The Purge is coming. Whether we survive it or not, but like something like there's something.
I do believe that Diddy had something to do with Tupac's murder. I do believe that.
Are we there? Are we here with that?
I do believe that there's something to that. And I believe that Biggie's murder was in retaliation, 100% in retaliation.
For Tupac.
Yes.
I mean, then who ordered Biggie?
Someone from Suge or somebody from.
I see that. I just want a timeline. I want a Venn diagram. I want some sort of chart.
Yeah, Diddy, man, like that's an interesting one, because that guy is a mogul. Like he's one of the first guys in hip hop to really take his success and his money from hip hop and invest it into multiple ventures and make himself incredibly wealthy with some very shrewd investments along the way. So like, this is a super, super fall from grace if this is all true. Yeah.
And didn't like Mary J. Blige basically kind of out him too for like taking advantage of her and
I don't know, but Gigi's 100% right that Biggie's death benefited. There's another thing, like you can make an argument that Diddy may have been involved in Biggie's death because nobody gained more from Biggie's death than Diddy did.
Yeah. So like he
had full control of all of his rights. Diddy had control of all of his music, all of his rights. I mean,
Had no problem, but he sold
his
it away to,
image, yes, and yes, and he was so he is so rich that do you know that he pays Sting to this day because he did not pay for the rights to Every Step You Take when he made that Biggie memorial song, which is like Diddy's biggest hit. He did not ask for permission from Sting to use it, and Sting sued his ass, and he's still to this day. Well, it doesn't even make a dent in Diddy's fucking money. It's pocket change. He's so not worried about it. He just pays Sting millions of dollars on a monthly basis, and it doesn't fucking matter.
You're talking about a guy that didn't ask permission to physically enter another human being. So why would he ask for permission to fucking use the music?
Great point. Great point.
But horrifying because this guy was allowed to happen, and
I can't believe it took this long.
Everybody knew about it. Apparently,
I can't believe it took this long. It's like Bill Cosby.
Again, great example. Everybody knew about it, right? Everybody knew about it, but they kept having specials. They kept putting them on. NBC knew about it. We have to get over it. We have to get over this whole misogyny thing. Mm-hmm. Maybe the UN has a solution. Maybe.
Oh, yeah?
Oh.
I doubt it.
The UN has picked Saudi Arabia to lead a women's rights forum.
Come on.
That's all. I didn't even get through the headline. Like,
come on.
What?
Is this the fucking lightning round?
Is this the Onion?
Yeah, come on. That can't be real. No, this is from The Guardian. This is like a real headline.
Saudi Arabia has been chosen as the chair of the UN commission that is supposed to promote gender equality and empower women around the world after an unopposed bid for leadership condemned by human rights groups because of the kingdom's abysmal record on women's rights.
Now, yeah, human rights too, but yeah, women's rights too.
The Saudi ambassador to the UN was elected as chair to the Commission of the Status of Women. That's something from like a dystopian sci-fi movie.
For real.
I am the commissioner of the status of women. You're a dude. I know. Right? By acclamation, I guess, which is nobody wanted to vote or dissent against it. Nobody wanted to speak up and go, not even to get it on record. Hey, yeah, just like Iceland. This is the terrible
just saying. Idea. I don't know if you know who Saudi Arabia is,
right?
But this is not a great idea,
guys. I know here in Auckland, we're not well known, but folks, trust us. This is a really bad idea.
There isn't some African country or something that.
Nope.
Nothing.
He was endorsed by a group of Asian Pacific states on the commission when the outgoing chair, the Filipino envoy to the UN, he asked the 45 members if they had any objections. There was silence in the chamber.
Jesus.
I hear no objection. It is so decided, he said. Normally, a country holds a chair for 2 years. But the Philippines was put under pressure from other members of the Asia group to split its tenure and pass the post on to another country after 1 year. Bangladesh, of all countries, was expected to take over, but late in the process, Saudi Arabia stepped in and lobbied for the chair, which is widely seen as an attempt to burnish the kingdom's image.
Yes, that's total propaganda. Yeah.
Whoever's the chair, which is now Saudi Arabia, is in a key position to influence the planning, the decisions, the taking stock, and looking ahead in a critical year for the commission. Saudi Arabia is now at the helm, but Saudi Arabia's own record on women's rights is abysmal and a far cry from the mandate of the commission. That was Shireen Tadros, the head of the New York office of the Amnesty International. And you're fucking right, Shirlene. Saudi Arabia is the last country. Maybe the UAE. Toss it up. Maybe Kuwait. But if you don't allow women to vote, and you don't allow women to show their face in public.
Yeah, if you come from a Muslim country, I'm sorry, I hate to paint with this broad brush, but your religion is anti-woman. Sorry, your beliefs, your fundamental beliefs are anti-woman.
More than Christianity.
Yes,
Which is saying something.
you literally force your women to cover their faces and bodies in public. So you can't talk about women's rights or lead anything regarding that when your fundamental religious beliefs say that women have to cover themselves up because men can't be trusted to fucking control themselves in public among women. And the whole thing is patently absurd.
Again, Saudi Arabia elected chair of the Commission on the Status of Women.
It's so silly.
That sounds like some bullshit redneck community township thing.
Yeah.
Commission on the Status of Women? Do we need a commission?
Is that what the UN needs to be worrying about right now?
And seriously, it makes you question that governing body. And
really
I'm not much into that to try to just disrupt that kind of thing. But what the fuck?
Yep.
Enough said. Hey, the Republican National Council elected, or at least positioned,
The Republican National Committee.
Thank you. Did I say council? I don't want to.
You did.
I don't want to give them any more prestige than they're due.
Oh, look, it's Laura Trump.
Imagine that the daughter-in-law of the former president has been given the position as co-chair of the RNC, which means she has access to the budget and she has access to fundraising, which they've already signed an agreement that would funnel much of any campaign donation to
His legal fund.
His legal fund. Tell me again.
He can't get bail money. He
What?
can't get a bail bondsman to give him bail money. That's
Tell me
so
again
funny.
what Hunter Biden did.
Yeah.
Tell me again about nepotism.
Nepotism, right? Yeah, fuck off with your nepotism and your Hunter. I'm done listening to anything regarding Hunter Biden if you are not also willing to discuss the Saudi money, the Chinese money that was the all different kinds of money that was funneled to the Trump children, the
Son-in-law.
nepotism.
I will
come on.
I will trade you Hunter Biden for Jared Kushner.
That's it.
Let's go.
That's it.
Let's go.
We sold Saudi Arabia billions of dollars in weapons, and he got a $2 billion kickback for it.
Sweeten the pot. I'll give you Hillary Clinton.
Right.
To sweeten the pot. You want that? You want to make that trade? Let's make that trade.
Lest we forget, who's the daughter? Ivanka, right?
Ivanka. $640
There's tariffs.
million.
Trump puts tariffs on all Chinese products and says nobody can do business with China except Ivanka Trump's business. They get a special exception. They can continue to do business with China. Nobody fucking says a word. But you want to bust my balls about fucking Hunter Biden? Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. If you're not gonna if you're not gonna treat both equally, then get the fuck out of here. Because you know what? I acknowledge if Hunter Biden is doing anything close to what Jared Kushner and Ivanka Trump and the Trumps were doing, then they should be treated as such and found guilty and punished accordingly. But let's also fucking punish the Trumps for doing the shit that they're doing.
Imagine that.
Yeah,
No,
it's fucking crazy.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Nobody encapsulates the Republican Party quite like the Lincoln Project. And since we haven't been around for a week, they made a nice audio visual presentation.
Oh, did they? I love those guys. I've really started to become a big fan of the Lincoln Project.
There's a lot to be said about the Lincoln Project. There's a lot of former hardcore Reagan Republicans that are making millions on this endeavor, but it's a scenario where it is the enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Correct. Yes, I agree. Yes, politically we probably don't agree on much, but we both agree that Trump is a complete fucking buffoon.
So here's their latest over the last week. This is just 1 week, folks. Just 1 week.
Joe Biden has done nothing for America.
You can't have an election in the middle of a political season.
Nationalism is biblical. You see, the left is loaded with demons.
There's no such thing as trans people. They don't exist.
And we'll bring crime back to law and order.
Most people don't question the result. That's all I'm saying. They don't question whether Biden won or not. Right?
Donald Trump sells taco bowls. They're the greatest taco bowls you've ever eaten. I've tried them. They're delicious. Does Joe Biden sell taco bowls? No.
We know what he will do.
Jesse Waters is about as white as they come.
Watch this.
Are you going to start putting money into your campaign?
Yeah.
You haven't done that since
Yeah.
2016.
Well, first of all, it's none of your business.
He said that Jews who vote for Democrats hate their religion, hate their country. What do you think about that?
Well, there again, he has a remarkable way of communicating.
This is all Biden-run things.
We won. No, we didn't win.
We'll be appealing this.
What are you doing? Why are you doing this to American energy companies because of children?
You want Speaker John sit out.
I wouldn't have filed a motion to vacate if I didn't.
Right.
Men feel annoyed that no one ever thinks about us, and you know how much we want to be thought of.
They're going to try and rig it.
Jesse Waters is the fucking
God
worst.
made it very clear that there were important conversations taking place at tables that I needed to be sat at.
They're either trying to bankrupt us, or they're trying to imprison us, or sometimes both.
Crackheads.
This is a clown show, people.
Those guys are great.
Good stuff, right? And,
Yes,
but
excellent.
Also, let's just
Some just batshit stuff going on in there.
literally people saying the craziest shit, and they're on television.
Jesse Waters is the worst. He is a caricature.
That is a comedy show, and if you look at it, as
he's like
anything but
he's
you're
taking
full.
what Tucker Carlson did and taking it to like another level to try to be the next Tucker Carlson. He just says the dumbest shit over and over and over again. It's incredible.
His own mom called him out live on his show.
Really?
Oh yes.
We'll have to watch that.
I mean,
we have time. I can search it.
I mean, yeah, we can absolutely do that if you want to search that out. And
Jesse Waters' mom.
Yeah,
I'm sure it comes
that
up.
every Wednesday night, this is what we do. It's called Topic Thunder, folks. It's 150. Not that we like do much or celebrate or anything like that. The conversation is what's the most important part, and it's been great. Thank you for participating in the world's most dangerous chat zone, the Thunderdome. So, as Ben furiously types away, and you anxiously await the Thunder's the lightning round. That's what we call it.
Okay, there's a video from 6 years ago where Jesse Waters reads mean texts from his mom.
No, that might not be it. There's literally one where
mom calls in.
Yeah, that's it. That would be mom calls in. She calls in live. It was like, oh, basically calls him out at his
from like 8. Shares humbling advice on the show.
It might be a year or so. Give or take.
About 8 months ago, maybe?
That sounds about right.
Hold on, let's... So The View, there's a video of The View talking about it. Hold on.
Oh, they may have scrubbed. I mean, it's possible they scrubbed it. Which is fine, too. Just know that Jesse Waters.
Is this? Oh, okay. Hold on. I think I found something.
Has some too much water in his brain.
Oh, how do you start this shit over again?
This is live television here right now.
Oh no! Shut up.
What?
All right, hold on. I think I got it.
Hold on. Breaking news. Wait.
Rabbit holes. We do not want to lose you, and we want no lawsuits.
Okay.
Okay, I have a list here. In keeping with the Hippocratic Oath, do no harm. We need you to be kind and respectful. You yourself mentioned that humble is a stretch, so I get that. Use your voice responsibly.
His uncomfortable
to promote
laugh.
Conversation that maintains a narrative thread. There really has been enough Biden bashing, and the laptop is old. Perhaps you could suggest that your people take less interest, for example, in other people's bodies.
Yes, go, Mom.
Do not tumble into any conspiracy rabbit holes.
That's amazing. Good for Mom.
Like, call him out like live. Well, yeah,
On air, and you can see how uncomfortable he is, and that uncomfortable laugh where he's like, "Yeah, Mom, stop talking, please."
Like this, he immediately recognized it was a bad idea.
Yes, like holy shit! And you can imagine the phone call he had with his mom after they hung up, like after off the air.
I don't think he talks to his mom anymore after that. Mom, you absolutely embarrassed me at my show.
Mom, you're never coming on my show ever again. Do you understand me?
Meatloaf. All right. We know what side of the bread is buttered.
Mm-hmm.
And it's on the cute animal things.
Yes.
So check this out. We have a dog and a koala.
Aw.
Check that out. Check it out. They're like mutual.
That poor koala is ridden with syphilis, unfortunately.
They're kissing each other, smelling each other.
I'm telling you, if they weren't just giant balls of syphilis, a koala might be a really solid pet to have. Unfortunately, though, they are just a walking ball of syphilis.
Giant ball of syphilis.
Giant ball of syphilis, which is also a great metal band from the early '80s.
It was several members of Rough Me Up were in that band prior to.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's a whole nother wormhole, ladies and gentlemen. And with that, let's call it down. Bring some lightning. Bring some thunder. Just like that, I'm making it sound like I'm Jeff Goldblum. Welcome to the Lightning Round, ladies and gentlemen. This is where we enter into. I can't do Jeff Goldblum. It's not in my wheelhouse.
It's not in my wheelhouse.
The Thunderdome is alive with the lightning bolts. Folks, if you're new, welcome to the program. Welcome to Topic Thunder 150, where we humbly introduce the lightning round.
Oh, it's chlamydia, not syphilis. It is chlamydia. You're right. That's my bad.
That's already voting story number 4.
Yeah, there's only 3. We only have
which I love. We're going to figure that out. We're going to make that happen.
Fuck it.
The lightning round, really quick. 3 stories entered the Thunderdome, and the one that we read is voted upon by you, the people. And the coolest exercise of democracy this side of early November. So, ladies and gentlemen, without dilly or dally, headline number 1: Aaron, earmuffs. Masturbating handyman gets off.
All right.
We get leggy after this. Headline number 2: student amputates his leg to get $1 million insurance payout. He only gets $561,000 and now has to pay it back.
Oh!
And headline number 3: man arrested after allegedly eating leg of pedestrian after hit by train in Wasco.
Wait. Repeat that one more time.
Sure. Headline number 3: man arrested after allegedly than eating the leg of a pedestrian who was hit by a train in Wasco.
Whoa! That is two legitimately jaw-dropping fucking headlines. Really, it buries the first one, which is also on its own fairly decent, but the last two are like, you saw my face, jaw-dropping.
Some legs to stand on there.
So here we go. They're coming in hot.
And well, is that for me? Cool.
Joey going with number 3.
We are
young Aaron going with number 3. Adrian going with number 2.
We are just throw up that number in the world's most dangerous chat zone.
I fully expect thy Australian guy to come out of nowhere tonight, like Randy Orton with an RKO,
just out of nowhere. Or Billy Whack.
Imagine the excitement when the guy sees the train accident and he's like, holy shit, I'm grabbing that for dinner.
I don't have to go to Whole Foods right now.
Number 3. Read one more time. Again, Chris is asking for a one more read through.
Okay, and certainly we oblige. Headline number 1. Masturbating handyman gets off. Headline number 2. Student amputates his leg to get $1 million insurance payout, but only gets $561,000 and has to pay it back.
Oh.
And headline number 3.
You can't expect it. Yeah, there he is. Yours.
Headline number 3. Man arrested after allegedly taking, then eating the leg of a pedestrian who was hit by a train.
We're still waiting for votes from the MVPs. Thy Australian guy needs a vote. Did Billy Whack? Did he give us a vote?
He went number 3.
He did. Okay, number 3. Thy Australian
Ryan Hansen
guy.
went number 3. So we're up to it.
3 is starting to run away with this thing. I think 3. And Chris is going with number 3. I see where the trend is going.
If you're not voting 3, you should vote now. Although you probably shouldn't say something like that in a democracy. But
right? Yeah, we're just supposed to let it happen. Whatever happens. But this is more like Vladimir Putin's democracy.
There he is.
There we
Dad
go.
for Brooks voting in. It's
Ma Jordan going with number 2.
2, okay. Making a valiant
It'd be
effort,
like if Brian Strand was waiting around for train accidents so he can eat. All the people I know, Brian Strand would be the person. Yeah.
Deep cuts right there, ladies and gentlemen. I guess at this point, if you haven't voted by now,
I think the votes are in. I think that the people have spoken.
Should forever hold your peace.
Number 3, it is.
Let me send this link. That's what they call it in the information age, ladies and gentlemen. I'm hip. I'm cool with it. Send this link over to my man, Mr. Ben Jordan, so he can show it. There's a video even. So this is Wasco, California. KBAX Fox 58. Hello. Officials say the suspected man who allegedly removed evidence from the Wasco Amtrak station on Friday was identified as a 27-year-old Rosendo Tellez. Around 8 a.m., deputies responded to a BNSF Railroad Police to a report of a pedestrian who was struck by a train at the Amtrak station in the 700 block of G Street in Wasco. Deputies learned that Tellez allegedly removed evidence, a leg, from the scene. Tellez was found and arrested without incident on multiple outstanding warrants and for taking evidence from the scene. BNSF investigators arrived shortly and assumed the investigation. The Kern County Sheriff's Office is investigating an incident where Wasco, a pedestrian, was struck. Wait, where did the story go?
Oh, there's a video of the Fox 58 news story. If you want to let him do the talking for us,
we can.
A terrifying video circulating on social media appears to show a man carrying a severed body part of someone killed by a train in Wasco. Sheriff's officials say this happened today near the Wasco Amtrak station on G Street. Eyewitness News reporter Lena Folk has that story, but first, we do want to warn you that some of the footage is disturbing.
I'm in.
I'm not sure from where, but he came this way, and he walked all through here, and he was waving a person's leg, and well, he started chewing on it over there. He was biting it, and then he was hitting it against the wall and everything. And
it was a typical Friday for the construction workers laying down
Was it?
concrete outside the Amtrak station.
Then it
in
wasn't.
Frisco, until they saw a horrifying sight.
he's eating it. Hey, se la está comiendo.
You are looking at what a witness says is a man eating a detached leg. The detached leg came from a person hit by a train near the Wasco Amtrak station earlier that morning.
Well, on the leg, the skin was hanging. You can see the bone.
Jose Ibarra tells Eyewitness News that when the man walked past him with the leg, he believed him to be homeless. Ibarra is unsure where the man came from. He says Kern County Sheriff's deputies stopped the man after people from the Amtrak station called the police.
Put down the leg, sir.
It gotta go.
Put down the leg.
Around. KCSO says the man is 27-year-old Rosendo Tellez. Tellez was arrested for taking evidence from the scene and had multiple outstanding warrants. At this moment, investigators haven't said who the leg belongs to or who was hurt in the train crash, but we do know that one person died. Tellez was arrested, and Kern County Sheriff's Office say it is an active investigation.
Probably
Reporting
not hard
in
to figure out
Wasco,
who
Lena.
the leg belongs to.
Wow.
Like,
That's
who's
incredible.
missing a leg? Hey guys, which body's missing the whole leg? If this is in fact the decline of Western civilization, at least we're here to document it together.
Indeed.
And you're here, part of the world's most dangerous chat zone, the Thunderdome. This is Topic Thunder, number 150. Nobody's counting, but the archivists, the emails are just really dry, but also stinging. So I have to mention it, otherwise I hear about it. 150.
Indeed.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Ben. Thank you, everybody. It's always a pleasure to have this opportunity to connect and the conversation to present these stories that may or may not be important and inform your lives. That's the whole point of this experiment, social experiment. So, folks, from the desk and the writers, the collaborators, the originators, and the aggregators of Topic Thunder, my name is Brooks, and that's Ben. It's been a pleasure from the deck of the USS Rapapa.